The drop in existing home sales she's talking about is raising more concerns about the housing market. But there may be a silver lining out there, which, well, it depends on how you look at it. The silver lining is prices are starting to finally come down. Joining me now is Andy Walden, ICE's Vice President of Enterprise Research for their mortgage and housing market. Andy, it's great to see you. So what do you see happening? Because your data is a little bit more real time than Case Shiller.
Yeah, and actually what you're seeing is, we've been talking about the Sun Belt region of the country for the better part of the last 6 to 9 months, and inventory returning there, prices starting to soften. You're starting to see that expand out west, right? So in January, there were only 9 markets that had seen prices dip a little bit from the same time last year. All 9 were in Texas or Florida. Now you're seeing 23, and the bulk of that growth is happening out in the west. So, Denver now is seeing the largest surplus of inventory of any major market, seeing prices starting to soften there. And that all-important California market, you're starting to see some of the strongest levels of inventory growth there, and prices starting to flatten out and soften a little bit in some of those California markets as well.
So all of this said, we have mortgage rates on the rise, which is mitigating some of the effect of home prices falling, if we can call it that, for buyers who are trying to get into the market.
Yeah, but even when you look at interest rates out there in the market, right, take that into consideration versus where we were at the same time last year, almost every major market is seeing slightly better home affordability than they were last year. And you look at the markets that have seen the most improvement, or the needle move the most in the right direction here, it's those areas in Florida, in Texas, in Colorado, in California, where you're starting to see prices ease a little bit. So, marginal movement so far, but I think this is what a lot of, industry folks have been looking for in terms of starting to break that affordability challenge, or at least move the needle on that affordability challenge that we've been facing for the last 3 years.
A popular narrative around here, Andy, in the beleaguered Northeast, is that people are coming back. We love to believe it. I don't know if it's a fantasy or if it's reality that people are coming back there. They don't want Florida, they don't want Austin. They don't want the Sun Belt. They want to come back for proximity to the job they now have to go into the office for, which is more often than not New York, D.C., and so forth.
Yeah, and you're seeing New York hold up really well from a price standpoint. It's really true across the Midwest and Northeast. And the key storyline when you look at those regions of the country is there's still no inventory, right? We haven't seen a whole lot of movement over the last 12 months. They're still at deep inventory deficits. And so there isn't a major Midwest or Northeast markets that's down year over year, or that even saw, modest month-over-month seasonally adjusted price declines in May. So a very different dynamic there in the Midwest and Northeast than what you're seeing in the South and West.
Does that explain? So if we see the headlines that say home prices are dropping, is it correct to say they're kind of dropping across the country, or are they dropping in areas that had experienced run up during COVID, where they now might be seeing populations relocating back towards their jobs?
Yeah, they're dropping in specific locations, right? It was Texas and Florida at the beginning. Now you're starting to see it move out west. Again, very little movement. You're certainly seeing home price growth soften a little bit in the Midwest and Northeast, but still moving in a positive direction. And then when you look at migration overall, you're just simply seeing a slowdown, right? It was strong outward migration from California, strong inward migration to Texas and Florida. You're still seeing those same patterns out there. It's just slowed drastically from what we saw in 2021, 2022.